Today on Dr. Dave's Afternoon Appointment, I have Craig Morrison. Craig, welcome to the show and welcome back to KDKD.
Thank you so much for having me, buddy. It's great to be here.
You bet. It's been a couple of years since you've been here. We've seen each other a couple times down in Nashville along the way.
Yeah.
But nice to have you back here in the studio with us.
It's great to be here, buddy. Thank you.
You bet. The last time you were here, you had the song Fences, and that one did real good on the Music Row charts. And now you have the song Phone Call, and that one's moving up the charts as well.
Yeah, you know, I mean, when I first moved from Australia here, Fences was my first release here, and I was rapt to be able to get within the Music Row chart. It was just a wonderful experience, and to be able to get out and visit all the stations and do a little radio tour was amazing. And I've got to be honest, this time around, it's even more exciting because I'm getting to go back and see people that I met, 2 years ago, and I've kept in touch with, or we've met, hooked up at the CRS in Nashville or whatever. So it's great, and this single now, Phone Call. Just having written the song as well, and just the whole history as to how it came about, just makes it that much more exciting. So. And
you work with Kent Wells down in Nashville, and that is, a very big name in the music industry.
Yeah.
How did you get hooked up with Kent?
It's a fairly long story, but
okay.
but at the end of the day, I was given that opportunity to go in and meet with Kent, and I mean, initially, for those of you who don't know, Kent Wells produced the likes of Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire and a number of other amazing artists, country artists. But I went in to talk to him about this one single, Phone Call, and him putting his hand on it as a producer, and one thing led to another, but now basically Kent, out of the kindness of his own heart, has said, Craig, I want to do a project with you, and I'm going to do it on my dime, and we're going to start as soon as I get back from the Dolly Parton tour, which was pretty much only 2 days ago. So I am super excited about what we've got coming up over the next couple of weeks.
Well, and we were just talking before we came into the studio, that you are going to be meeting again with Kent here real soon about new things coming up.
Very much so. Well, like I mentioned, I mean, he's also not only Dolly's producer, but also her lead guitarist, and I assume he manages the band as well. So I mean, he's got a pretty full-time job out there.
Yeah.
And he does it so well, and he's done it for a long, long time, and I appreciate that. And now I'm just super excited about him getting back to Nashville and us getting in the studio. I've got a bunch of songs lined up, and he's pre-heard a lot of them, so it's just getting the rest of the project done. So Phone Call was a have-to-have now at radio as far as I was concerned, and a number of people that I deal with, and it's great. It's out there, and it's doing some fantastic things right now.
It really is. It really is. A lot of things I want to ask you about, but we're also here to listen to some of your music as well. Would you like to go ahead and play one for the listeners while we've got you here in the studio?
Just so happen to have brought a guitar with me.
That is so handy.
I'd like to do a song that was on my last album. It's one of my favourites to do in studio. It's called Stay Up Late, and it goes a bit like this. I know we talked about going out tonight. Baby, if it's alright with you, I'd just as soon crack open a bottle of wine. Stay right here the whole night. I can hardly wait. Go to bed early and stay up late. We can kiss on the couch, dance in the kitchen, sit on the porch, listen to the crickets sing us a song, and our worries away. Then a little later on, the wine starts working the cold at night. Close all the curtains, come on, baby, I can hardly wait. Go to bed early and stay up late.
All right, Craig Morrison on Dr. Dave's afternoon appointment. That's nice. I like that.
Thank you.
And I had the chance to see you perform live over Ustream, a concert just last week from Nashville.
Oh, really? That's cool. You watched that?
Yeah, that was
awesome.
great.
That was from the Tin Roof.
Yes, and that was the first time I got to see you in a concert, you know, and that was really cool. I really liked that.
What a great band!
Yeah.
Like I had some of the best players with me. I had Tim Galloway, who's Gary Allen's lead guitarist, was playing with me. I had Andrew Savine, who is another awesome guitarist. His dad is Red Savine, you know, like country royalty.
Yeah.
I had Jeff Lockerman playing bass. He's Big and Rich's bass player, and Chris Beals, who's a wonderful friend and an awesome drummer. But it was, yeah, a great band. Loved it.
Yeah, it looked like it was a lot of fun that night.
It was.
A great night.
Yeah.
So if anybody gets a chance to see Craig perform in person, don't miss it.
Totally.
Yeah. Now you grew up in Australia.
Yes.
And you've lived here in the United States for a few years now.
Yep.
But when you grew up, you did some acting and stuff as a youth. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, you know, my upbringing is my dad's an entertainer. So, you know, when my dad was recorded a song called "I've Been Everywhere Man," which later Hank Snow and Johnny Cash released here in the United States after my dad had released it in Australia. So, you know, when I was born, my dad was already like a superstar. He's like Johnny Cash to America is Lucky Star to Australia. So, you know, I thought everybody's dad was a singer as I grew up. You know, my dad was amazing. Very, very passionate Australian. He was the first entertainer to go to Vietnam. He entertained the troops there. He did 5 tours there. He even performed with the Admiral on the USS Kitty Hawk.
Wow.
So, you know, I've got some pretty big boots to fill on that side of things. But getting back to what you said, you know, I was born into the entertainment industry. So, you know, singing and acting and everything was sort of just a bit of a, not a must do, but sort of like it was there to be a part of. And I did a lot of acting as a young teenager. Did some movies, and in fact some of my family wondered why I walked away from that, because it was incredibly good money.
Yeah.
But you know, my passion is singing and entertaining. I'm more about an instant response than I am about something where you've got to sit back and wait for it to be edited.
Months and months.
So I pursued what I love the most, which is, you know, writing and getting up on stage and giving something to people without going too in depth. And I explained this yesterday in another interview, is that, you know, one of the things that has really come to my attention throughout my life is, you know, it's great to be a singer. It's great to get up on stage. We're all egotistical. We all love the attention.
Well, sure.
We really, really do. But I do a thing called MOC, which is Musicians on Call.
I was going to bring that up, yeah.
At Vanderbilt Hospital. And, you know, I go room to room. I do it once or twice a month. It's about as often as I can.
All right.
But, you know, I do the intensive care and the transplant floors there at Vanderbilt. And it's when you go in there and you sing a song, and for 3 minutes you've got that person who's forgot about the drip in their arm, and they're smiling at you or they're tapping their foot, and I can tell you some stories that would make you cry.
Yes.
It has me. That's, for me, that is that's the most rewarding thing about the ability I've been given as far as an entertainer is concerned.
Yeah.
You know, it's great to be able to pay the mortgage and get out there and have a single at radio and do all those things, but to be able to get a reaction from somebody like that and give them a little bit of peace is probably the best thing anybody could ever ask for.
That's cool. I was going to ask about the musicians on call, because I knew you were a part of that. That's
I love it.
neat.
I'm a very big advocate for it.
Something I think we talked about before when we talked in Nashville was when you sang in Australia and then coming to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard getting a song on the charts, or even for stations to play it in the United States, because there's just so much music out there.
Well, it's huge. I mean, you've got 333 million people in this country, and we've got 33 million in Australia. I mean, the demographic and the size of the demographic obviously scales to what, but it's a huge task. I mean, honestly, I have an established music career in Australia, or had. Last time I checked, I haven't been back for over a year and a half. You know, and so to come here and get off the plane and get in line like every other want to be an entertainer is a daunting task. And I pat my wife on the back and my family for putting up with me wanting to start my career all over again, because it's a major thing to do, and but it's very grounding. And you know, there's a few things that have sort of you know, in Australia, because my dad was an entertainer, I had an enormous amount of contacts that I could draw on, and things and advice and things, and here we didn't have that. So it's been very grounding for me, and it made me reflect and realize you know, some of the real reasons and some of the more cherishable reasons that I am an entertainer and like to sing and like to write. So, you know, it's great. I love it, and I wouldn't trade my life for anything, to be honest with you.
And I think that's it says a lot about you to come over here and like I say, kind of leave behind what you had to say, hey, I want to try it over here, you know, on my own, and you know, break free of the other roots and give it a shot. And like I say, I know it's got to be tough here, because you know, all the music that I see coming through to us, there's just stacks and stacks.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I sympathise with you. I mean, you know, you walk into a program director's office and they got 25 CDs stacked on the desk. You go, wow, that's a collection for this year. It's like, no, that was this week.
Yeah, that's this week. Yeah.
You know, and you're meant to listen to them all. I mean, I totally appreciate where the stations are coming from, you know, and so, you know, really, that's why I'm back to basics. You know, I play downtown on Broadway now. You know, I do the second fiddle and Legends and the stage, and you know, the Tin Roof last week, and that's about just, you know, organically just meeting people and building a following, which is you know, where it all starts.
Yeah, and it's like being on the radio tour like this, whether you know, of course, so many people go to Nashville for vacations now, and they may hear you on our station and hear this interview, or they may see you down there, or both. And
hear me here and look me up when you come to Nashville. That's perfect.
That's right. And hey, it all works out where maybe it'll make people go out and go to Craig Morrison Music on the internet and buy some of your music.
That would be wonderful. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's you know, it's people like yourself and KDKD that are the soul of the earth, and you're the guys that give us the opportunity, and without you, we couldn't get our music out there, and for that I'm very, very grateful.
Well, we really like the guys like you, Craig, that come around and bring us this music. So it's a real pleasure. And as I mentioned, people can go to craigmorrisonmusic.com on the internet.
Most definitely.
And last night we were using Twitter to send stuff back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, that was good
Facebook,
fun. Yeah, I was just at the hotel down the road. I felt like calling you up and saying, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
No, you can do Twitter. It's I'm Craig Morrison is my Twitter sign, or whatever you want to call it. And even Facebook is just Craig Morrison Music as well. And you know, I love it. I had 2 or 3 people from Clinton here in Missouri actually follow me last night, which was wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, and like last night when I was tweeting, I guess. I had no idea where you were, you know, and you were like, you were within a mile and a half of my house.
There you go.
And you could have been, you know, clear across the state, and I had no clue. So that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
We've got time. Would you like to play another one here for us in the studio?
Sure. I'm just thinking. Okay, I'd like to do this song. Sorry to take a pause, but I'm just thinking what would be the best song to do for you. This is a song, I actually wrote this song with my wife. It's shortlisted for my album. It's a slow one, and it's called Love We Made. Goes like this. Girl, you're pretty as a flower, all done up with the sunshine in your hair. You were like it when you dressed up. I'll be honest, even if you didn't wear one single drop of makeup, that'd be alright. Morning and night, thank God that you're mine. If you were a song, I'd sing it. If you were a singer, I'd save you. If you were a river, I'd roam with you to the sea. If you were the wind, I'd ride you. If you were a treasure, I'd find you. I'm sure you've heard I love you before, but I love you more. Oh, I love you more. Maybe I'm crazy, if I'm crazy, you know it's all your fault. You used to fly like a free bird, always running. It looks like I've been caught. Took a girl like you to realize that it's alright. Morning, day and night, be right by your side. If you were a song, I'd sing it. If you were a singer, I'd save you.
That is Craig Morrison. All right.
Thank you very much. And you know what? That wasn't Love We Made, that was Love You More, which are two very close songs. And I just started, I'm just going, oh, what the heck? We'll just keep going.
It's your choice.
Yeah, I know.
Singer's choice. Yeah. All right, good deal. And for everybody listening out there, we're trying something new today. We are running video on this, so if it comes out, we'll have it probably on our Facebook page, maybe even on our homepage at westcentralmoinfo.com. We'll see how it comes out, and we're hoping that we've got that up for you to watch as well.
Awesome.
We're gonna check that out, and just something new we're trying, because you know, here at KDKD we're always doing something new with the video camera, and Eric the webmaster said, hey, why don't we try that today?
Yeah, for sure. That's great.
Yeah. Craig, this has been so much fun today.
Thank you so much for having me, buddy.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
And it sounds like you've got a lot of great things coming up as well. You're going to be back working with Kent Wells again, some new things coming up there.
Yeah.
And of course the single Phone Call is doing good. And when we get done here, I'm going to take a break, and then I'll come back and play the single for everybody.
Perfect.
And let them hear that again. And been getting good response from that too, so that's
fantastic.
Great.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and it has been. You know, the few people that I have spoken to have all said that it's been going really, really well. So to your listeners, thank you so much. If you love the song, yeah, please keep requesting it, and don't forget my name, Craig Morrison, because I'm going to be around for a while yet.
Yeah. Well, so before we go, I do want you to tell us a little bit about the single. You know, it was,
sure.
We want to make sure everybody kind of knows the story behind it here.
All right, for sure. Well, you know, I did write the single. I wrote it with another gentleman, and I use that term quite loosely. A good friend of mine, his name's DJ Gleason, and this was the second song that we'd written together, and the first one was great as well, which is, you know, on the back burner as far as other tracks, but this one in particular we were writing for a signed artist in Nashville, and we got 2/3, 3/4 of the way through it, and you know, I started to really fall in love with this song because lyrically, content-wise, it really meant a lot to me. And by the time we got it to the studio and we cut the song as a demo to present, with some amazing players, Pat Lassiter, thank you. He also co-produced it. He's bass player for Tracy Lawrence, Tim Galloway, Gary Allen's lead guitarist. Will Ellis, who's Montgomery Gentry's drummer, and Mike Holmes, an awesome piano player. Anyway, these guys, they just did such an amazing job with the song, and when I played the demo to my wife and to a few other people, they said, really, you should be releasing this song. And that's sort of how the ball started rolling. It was originally for another artist, but I don't know. All the ducks sort of lined up and nobody shot any of them, so I figured this is a sign we should release this song, and I'm so happy that we have, because it's doing wonderful things. Thank you.
So I don't know, like with your career, do you everybody has to have a sounding board, you know, we all have our own opinion, like, yeah, I like that song, or I think this is the one I should have, we'll say, as my next single, or something like that. Is, like, your wife, is she, you know, kind of part of that sounding board for you? Does she give you the honest opinions and stuff like that, or
she's incredibly honest. But you know, like I said, I mean, for an independent to release a single, it's a very, very big financial commitment.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody out there understands, and I know you do, and that's why you have us independents in here, is because we put our necks out there when it comes time to putting a song to radio. Yes, my wife definitely, you know, gave her nod of approval on it, but it was also, there was a number of other people, industry people as well, who said that, you know, it was an amazing song, and it showcased me as an artist as well. It was different, but it wasn't too different, you know. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what your listeners think as well.
You bet. You bet. All right, Craig, thanks so much for being on today. And once again, CraigMorrisonMusic.com.
Yeah.
And also they can go to Facebook, Twitter, all over the place.
Go to the website. All the buttons are there, and it'd be great to see you. I'd really appreciate it. It's been wonderful being here.
You bet. The single is called Phone Call, and we've got it coming up for you here on Dr. Dave's Afternoon Appointment.